Hello everyone and welcome to 10 random lore facts in Rainbow Six Siege. All I ask is if you enjoy this, hit the like button, sub if you haven't already, and let's get into the video. So this fact is going to be for Castle. Have you ever looked at his elite skin and wondered why there is a dog in it? Well, this actually has a lot to do with his lore. In his psychological report with Harry, it is stated that one of the things that Castle loves to do is adopt rescued dogs from shelters who have been previously abused and give them a second chance in life. Not only do we know this, we also know that he had a dog by the name of Maxwell. That is because there was a charm in an older battle pass by the name of Companion Memorial, which is a little dog tag which says, "In loving memory of Maxwell, my best bud." So this is quite a nice little charm to run on Castle, and as well as this, if you ever see his elite barricade in game, you now know the reason behind it. It represents his humanity, quite fitting that he is a part of the humanitarian squad, Wolfguard. A really nice part of Castle's lore which I'm glad they included in his elite skin. But staying on the theme of Castle's elite skin, that is actually going to move us to our next fact. And that is the fact that Castle's elite skin itself and the design of that elite skin is based off of Idris Elba. Yes, the British actor. Now, let me explain why. In the lead up to the launch of Rainbow Six Siege all the way back in 2015, Ubisoft were of course doing their big marketing push. And one of these included a live action trailer starring Idris Elba. And as you can see in this trailer, he is wearing a similar jacket to the one of Castle's elite skin. Now, it would actually go on to be confirmed that this elite skin was a reference to this old live action trailer with Idris Elba, which is a really fun reference to the past, and honestly, this live action trailer for Rainbow Six Siege is absolutely sick. Just goes to show how the operators and action of Rainbow Six Siege would actually fit very well in live action. Sadly though, that's probably something we won't see more of because there's rights and everything like that. Amazon own like the movie and TV show rights for Rainbow Six, and that is stemming from the books, which Ubisoft's universe has also stemmed from, but they are still two separate universes at the end of the day, so it's unlikely we'll ever see a live action Siege. Right, if you came here for a really nerdy lore fact, then I'm delivering. When Harry was traveling to Greece during his time of creating the program and the stadium, he flew out from London Heathrow, which is where the map plane is set, the real airport in London. Not only that though, he flew with Great Britain Airways, which is this universe's version of British Airways. We also know that he traveled first class, sat in the seat 8A. His gate was number 11 and it closed at 3:50 PM with his flight departing at 4:20, and he was of course traveling to Athens in Greece. We actually know all this information from a charm of his boarding pass back when the very first battle pass came out called Call Me Harry, which was a free mini battle pass all about Harry. Pretty cool bit of information if I don't say so myself. Extremely niche and extremely fun. So if you keep up with the lore and you keep up with my channel, you may have seen the Year 9 cinematic where our operators face off against Deimos and they actually bring him into custody. Now, the reason they actually won this engagement is because Deimos thought he put Rook down. He thought he killed Rook because it was already established that the ordnance used by Deimos and the Kiraz Legion was capable of penetrating Rook's armor. So after Mira and Rook found this out, they would go on to improve Rook's armor, hence why none of the operators die in that cinematic because they have their improved protection, which Deimos wasn't expecting. However, here's quite a little fun fact about this. If you slow down this cinematic, you can actually see that the armor case in which Rook places down isn't his standard armor case, it is actually his elite one. This implies that his elite gadget skin bag contains stronger armor than what we would consider his default one. It was actually really nice to get this confirmation in the Deadly Omen Battle Pass that they did indeed upgrade Rook's armor, because I made a theory video when we saw the cinematic, slowing it down and everything. Seeing that they opted to use the elite gadget skin, I put two and two together and came to the conclusion that they did indeed upgrade Rook's armor. So it was nice to see that that ended up being true, and I really like the fact that they used the elite gadget skin to help highlight that. A very fun little lore touch. Really enjoyed that one. The next fact has to do with maps, and that's the fact that a lot of maps that we play as in-game are now specifically Rainbow bases and Rainbow training facilities. Ever since launch, maps have always had lore behind them. There was a story being told, and a lot of them linked to already existing operators in the game. However, with the narrative moving forward, Ubisoft have decided to take a look at some older maps and some of the new maps and actually give them more of a deeper lore meaning. For example, Chalet never really had that much lore to it. Well, recently in the lore, it has has popped up, and it was noted that this was an older site they would use for training, which they haven't really used in a while. Then the Kudos Legion managed to find it and take over it, and then they had to reclaim it from them. Emerald Plains, for example, was purely just a country club in Northern Ireland. We didn't really know that much about it, but now, more recently in the lore, they have established that this is a dark site used by Rainbow's overseeing council. So they go here, they have their meetings, and I assume they play some golf. And as well as this, with the map tower, it was established that that was a Rainbow training facility, and that is where Deimos and the Kudos Legion targeted them to kill the recruits. So hopefully as the lore goes on, we get to see more maps reappear, and we get a deeper meaning of what their usage is now in game. Because it's alright saying maps like Villa, which a lot of you may know the lore behind because I've talked about it before. It was owned by the Vinciguerra crime family, and the version of the map we play is during their escape when they are getting raided. But you know, that's the backstory of the lore. What is happening with this map now in the current lore? So it was nice to see maps like Chalet that, yeah, we've already seen it in the past, but what are they using it for nowadays? Well, it was an older site which they used to train on, they've not used it as much, and then they had to reclaim it. So I'm actually really enjoying what they're doing with maps in the lore recently because it's really helping with the world building, and hopefully they continue to do it. This next one is a little fact which is present in Deimos's bio, and that says that he was present during Operation Red Storm. Since there is no Operation Red Storm in older games, we can assume that this is a reference to Red Storm Entertainment, who actually made the original Rainbow Six games, and thus created Gerald Morris as a character. And here's a little description about Red Storm that was written in 2019 by Ubisoft. Founded in 1996 with the mandate to bring American novelist Tom Clancy's work into the world of video games, Red Storm helped invent the squad-based tactical shooter genre when they developed the original Rainbow Six. They were acquired by Ubisoft in the year 2000 and have now been using their dedication to realism and expertise in adversarial multiplayer to make great games ever since. And they actually worked on the Dark Zones for the Division franchise as well, which is really cool. So yeah, if you ever see Operation Red Storm mentioned in Deimos' bio, that is a reference to the original team who worked on Rainbow Six. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at two of the somewhat newest operators, even though they are a remaster, and that is Striker and Sentry. Now, a big thing about these recruits and about Striker and Sentry is the fact that they are all unique people. They made an effort in the comics to highlight the fact that they can come in different shapes and sizes, different ethnicities from different nationalities, men, women, does not matter, they can all be Strikers and Sentries. However, the Striker and Sentry we have been presented to play as in gameplay are specifically an American male being the Sentry and a British female being the Striker. A lot of this is reflected in the voice lines in which they give, and I think it would have been quite cool if you could have the option to maybe customize the recruits a bit more than you currently can. Because being able to make them whoever you want them to be, maybe with like a different voice line pack and stuff like that, would have been something really fun in my opinion. Who knows, maybe we'll see an even further adaptation of the recruits in the future. However, this is still a really fun fact to keep in mind. And be sure to let me know in the comments, design wise, who do you think looks cooler, Striker or Sentry? Now, if you keep up with my shorts, you may have seen this one, but this is just too much of a wacky one not to include in this video. So, of course, you all know the fact that Capitao is missing an eye. That's pretty obvious when you look at him due to his eye patch. Now, he lost his eye after being tortured for months on end until he was saved, one of the people saving him being his cousin Brava. And we actually have a headgear in game of him during this time of torture where he has just lost his eye and he has a bandage covering his head, which I really do like as a headgear since it does sort of take us to this bit of Capitao's past and we get to see what it looked like. However, not only did Ubisoft release this headgear, in the same bundle, they also included Capitao's missing eye as a charm. Yes, if you really wanted to, you can right now jump onto the marketplace and buy Capitao's eye as a charm and run it in Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know whether to laugh or just be disgusted by it, but it is quite interesting at the end of the day that they did make this a charm. So if you truly want to run around with Capitao's missing eye, you can do so, but I do think the headgear is pretty cool, and it's just a nice little callback to his lore, but yeah, his eye exists as a charm. Next up, we're going to be looking at Nighthaven, and specifically the operators who actually left Rainbow to join them. So considering the fact that a lot of the gadgets used by our operators have been developed and funded by Rainbow, whether they be more advanced versions of original prototypes, it seems like their original iterations they used in Rainbow were not allowed to be taken over when they moved to Nighthaven. So thanks to some skins, we actually get a look at what these new Nighthaven variations look like, where it has been developed by their QCR department instead of Rainbow. One of which being Smoke's Canister, which is very sadly a charm and not a gadget skin, but I would absolutely love for this one day be a gadget skin, because this looks absolutely sick. But this is what Smoke's Canisters now look like. Same with a lot of their attires as well. You've probably seen the one for Smoke, but you also have some for IQ, Ella, Finka's Elite skin, for example. To me, this is what we're meant to see as their skins now they are in Nighthaven, compared to how they looked when they were in Rainbow, wearing their more CTU specific gear. And I honestly think they do look pretty cool, and I like seeing stuff change, and I like seeing characters develop. I think it is really fun. So the way you may still perceive some of these operators who are now part of Nighthaven may not be how they actually truly look anymore. Let me know if you prefer how they look in Rainbow or how they look in Nighthaven. This next lore fact is about Jaeger. You've probably heard the theory before that Jaeger is autistic, as there was some hints to him being autistic in the lore, but it was never officially confirmed. That was until April of 2024, when Ubisoft made a little article talking about autism representation. They mentioned the fact that Jaeger is canonically seen as autistic, and this is something that they didn't originally plan, but because a lot of the community related to this, especially those who were autistic, and saw themselves in the traits which Jaeger were presenting in the lore, this is something that the community sort of manifested and created, and Ubisoft have happily accepted it. So you may have heard this lore fact before, but as of 2024, it is now canonically official. And so everyone, that was 10 random lore facts in Rainbow Six Siege. Part 1, we'll hopefully make more if you guys do enjoy this video. If you do, hit that like button and subscribe so you let me know that you like it, and I'll make more of them. Have an incredible rest of your day. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.